if we're going to have 600 or 700 bases overseas and we're going to constantly send people into harm's way, and during Iraq and Afghanistan, people were getting 3, 4, 5, 6 tours of duty in combat zones. If you're going to do that to people, you can't balance the budget on the back of veterans. You can't say, well, now we're not going to take care of these veterans. And if people say it's expensive, my response is that's the cost of having a huge military industrial complex and being involved in so many conflicts around the world. If you don't want to spend so much money on veterans care, don't have the kind of military we have and don't become involved in so many conflicts. But as long as they're going to do that, those who answer the call to duty have to be taken care of afterwards. Veterans are not toy soldiers. They're not to be thrown away when you're finished with them. They're to be taken care of when they have problems. And I want to make one more point about this Project 2025 that a lot of people may not realize, and that is a real threat. Part of what the people who've written Project 2025 and people involved in this believe is that the only service connection that veterans should get should come from some kind of physical wound. You're injured in combat, somehow in the service, you hurt your back, and that can actually be physically shown. The other sorts of things that people get service connection for, PTSD, exposure to Agent Orange, cancers that come from Agent Orange, prostate cancer, cardiac conditions, all the things that will come from burn pit exposure, traumatic brain injuries. Unless you can show an absolute direct connection between what happened in the service to you and the condition you have, you should not be entitled to service connection. Now, maybe that'd be prospective, but maybe not. I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing people who have things like PTSD or suffering from military sexual trauma, start having those things reviewed and having their service connections revoked or lowered, because that's the essential thrust behind this. It's not only to privatize the VA healthcare system, but to reduce the number of people who are eligible for service connection. And your eligibility for service connection has a big influence on whether you're eligible for VA care or not, and whether you have to make co-pays or not, or whether you get complete coverage. So it's a threat not just to VA healthcare, it's a threat to this whole system that has been developed to take care of veterans. And